No? Okay, thank you. So in this verse, the word Buddhi Yoga is very significant. We may remember in the second chapter, the Lord instructing Arjuna said that he had spoken to him many things and that he would instruct him in the way of Buddhi Yoga. Now, Buddhi Yoga is explained. Buddhi Yoga itself is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence. And yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and takes fully to Krishna consciousness in devotional service, his action is called Buddhi Yoga. In other words, Buddhi Yoga is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. People do not know this. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One should know that the goal is Krishna. And when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed. And the ultimate goal is achieved. When a person knows the goal of life, but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in karma yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculation to understand Krishna, he is acting in jnana yoga. And when he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he is acting in Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, which is the complete yoga. This complete yoga is the highest perfection of life. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization, but if he is still not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to Krishna without difficulty. The qualification is that a person is always, the qualification is that a person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to Him. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Him. So this is a very important verse. It's actually a verse that is always quoted, or almost always quoted. And it gives the recipe on how we can attain to our ultimate destination, which is Goloka Vrindavan or Vaikuntha. So if we were to ask everyone in this room, where would you like to go at the end of this life? I'm guaranteeing you every single person will say they'd like to go to heaven. I've never heard anyone say they want to go to the other place. Everyone wants to go to heaven. So we have to work to get there. And this verse gives us the recipe on how we can do that. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned towards the end that it is love and devotion. Actually, Krishna also mentions that in this verse, that He says, those who constantly, that's an important word. So not occasionally, once a week, once a month, once a year, once in a lifetime. No, constantly. Constantly means every moment. So Srila Prabhupada created this wonderful society. He called it International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So the idea is that by becoming associated with the society, becoming associated with devotees, by become associated with the society, with devotees, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that in this verse, being associated with devotees or a bona fide spiritual master. So by being in association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master, this will help us to achieve our goal. And if our goal is to go to the supreme abode of the Supreme Lord, then we need this type of association. So one might say, so he created the society, he called it International Society for Krishna Consciousness, because the idea is that we should surcharge our consciousness in the thought of Krishna. Right? So one might say, well, how is that possible? Sometimes we go to sleep and we dream all kinds of nonsense. Sometimes stuff that we don't want to remember when we wake up. So Srila Prabhupada actually gave us a recipe on how we can get rid of those nonsensical dreams. He said if we read about or hear about Krishna before we go to bed, before we go to sleep, then we will dream about Krishna. And because Lord Krishna is non-different than his form, when we see that form of Lord Krishna within our dream, this is Lord Krishna himself associating with us. So who wouldn't want the Supreme Lord to be associating with us all the time, right? So actually we do have him associating with us all the time. And it's mentioned in this verse, he says, I give the understanding by which they can come. He give it from within. So the Lord is actually residing in everyone's heart in the form of Paramatma. And if we allow him, he will give us instructions. So there's a thing called free will that he gives to everyone. He doesn't force anyone. It's really up to us. Based on our action, we may either go to him or we may go to that other place. Right? I'm sure no one wants to go to the other place. So generally when we go to the other place, there's some discussion that happens there, and then we take birth again based on our activities. But if we go back home, back to Godhead, there is no return to this material world. So one may ask, so how is this, how can I implement this in my everyday life? What is it I can do to have my consciousness surcharged with the thought of Krishna always? So Srila Prabhupada kindly came here and he showed us by example. Sometimes we hear Srila Prabhupada is referred to as founder Acharya. So the word Acharya means teacher by example. So he taught us by example, and then his disciples, after Prabhupada left us, his disciples continued on that path, teaching everyone that come in contact with us. So that's our business. Our business is to teach, to help each other. Sometimes in a family group or a family gathering, one family member may be having some problems or some issues. The other family members are there to help them and to support them and to get them back on whatever path they were on. So that's what we're all here for. We're all here to help each other to traverse that path. Srila Prabhupada used that big fancy word, traverse. It means to, walk the path, to make it simple, to get to Lord Krishna. So how do we implement that in our everyday life? So earlier in the previous chapter, Krishna says if one offers to me with love and devotion a fruit, a flower, a leaf, or water, I'll accept it. So again, that word love is there. He mentions it in this verse, he mentioned it in that verse, and there are many other verses in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna mentioned that. Those two words, love and devotion, they are actually very important words. If we don't remember anything else after this discourse tonight, if we just remember those two words, love and devotion. And love and devotion to who? Love and devotion to Lord Shri Krishna. So if we just remember those, we will then start on that path, or we will continue on that path. Right? Sometimes we forget, and we need to be reminded. In Kali Yuga, the present age that we're in, our mind is everywhere. It's like a little child. You take a child into a toy store or a candy store, and they go crazy. Everything they see, they want. That's us. This material world is like a candy store. And everything we see, we want. Everything we smell, everything we touch, everything, we want more, more, more. The problem is when we get more than we can handle, and we become completely entangled. Anyone ever seen a cat playing with a roll of yarn? And the cat will play, and the yarn will unravel, and eventually the cat gets all tangled up, and it can't move anymore. And it needs someone to untangle it. So that's us. We come to this material world, everything we see, we want, and it's for me, not for anyone else. And we become so entangled in this material world from all of these activities that we need someone to untangle us. And that one is a bona fide spiritual master. So Krishna says, offer to me with love and devotion fruit love. So he wants us to offer something. So we all eat, right? Everybody here. Nobody can say they don't eat. Everyone eats. So offer it to Krishna. But it should be sattvic, right? It should be no fish, no meat, no eggs, no kind of... If you have to kill the animal to get it, it's not offerable, right? So if we have a birthday and somebody gives us a cake and there's a gel scribbling on it saying happy birthday, what is in that gel? So in the gel, the main ingredient of the gel is gelatin. And the gelatin comes from the stomach of a cow. You have to kill the cow to get it. Right? But we have no business to kill a cow, or anything, any other entity for that matter. Because we understand from our scripture that Krishna is the Supreme Father, and all living entities are His children. So those cows, the pigs, whatever, the chickens, whatever, they are our brothers and sisters. So by eating them, we're eating our own family members. There's only one person that's authorized to kill, and that's the Supreme Lord. And He doesn't really want to kill us, but it's our karma that kills us. Our karma brings us here, our karma makes us act in a certain way, and the karma is what takes us out. But Srila Prabhupada taught us, if we come before the Lord and we clap our hands, all the lines, our fortune changes. And it changes for the better. So we should come and keep on chanting and clapping so that all those lines can change. And they will all become favorable for us. And when they become favorable for us, then we can use that favorability to execute Krishna consciousness. Not use the favorability to engorge our own senses, right? Sometimes you hear someone won a lottery, and they might have been a nice, pious person before, but the minute they won the lottery, they turn into like a monster. You know, they start like enjoying this material world and forgetting about Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a story of someone by the name of Ajamil. He was a very nice devotee of the Lord. And one day when he was going to do his puja, he saw something that he shouldn't have seen, and it spoiled his life. I'm not going to get into that story. If you want to know the outcome, get a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam and read it, and you'll find out, right? So we have Srimad Bhagavatam on the table over there. You can get a copy. But so this is the thing, we can easily, this material world, the Guru of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Goswami Maharaj, he said this material world is no place for a gentleman, or a lady for that matter, right? Because it's fraught with danger. There's danger at every step. Padam, padam, yampi, padam. There's every step we take, there's danger. So how do we overcome that danger? We overcome that danger by dedicating each step to the Supreme Lord. So if we're using those steps to walk towards the Supreme Lord, there can never be any danger. If we cook the wonderful vegetables and fruits, etc. that we purchase from the store, and we wash them very nicely, we prepare a nice meal with love and devotion, and we make a nice offering, and we put it before the Lord, we don't need to know any fancy mantras. All we have to do is put it before the Lord and say, my dear Lord, in whatever language is comfortable with, my dear Lord, I made this offering for you. If you like, you can take. And if Krishna sees that we're doing it with love and devotion, then he will accept it. He says that, right? Sometimes we might invite a guest to our home. And when we invite that guest, we would spend hours or maybe days preparing for that guest or those guests. You know, we go to the market, find the best fruits and vegetables. We go home, you know, we examine each fruit, make sure that they're the best. We don't just pick up any fruit and throw it in our basket. We pick the best fruits and the best vegetables, and we go home and we prepare it with full attention. Because we know certain items that you make, if you look away for too long, they might get burned. So we do it with full intention. Why? Because we want our guests to have the best experience. We want that when they go away from there, they will remember for a long, long time that I went to ABC's home and I had the best meal. I've had a best meal in a long, 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 long time. Right? And so this is just an ordinary guest. Just think of the Supreme Lord. He's an extraordinary guest. So if we gather those items, we prepare them nicely, we offer to him, he will accept. He says that. So we need a house to live in, or an apartment, or a condo, or what have you. So we should make our home a temple of the Lord. Right? We make our home a temple of the Lord. We invite the Lord to come and take residence in that temple. And then we offer to him. We need a car, right? In this city, everybody needs a car. Unless you live downtown and you work nearby, you might be able to take a taxi or walk or ride a bicycle. Even a bicycle, you need to buy it. They're not free, right? Everybody wants a little money. So we buy a car, we use it in the service of the Lord. How? We go to the market and get the best foods that we can cook and offer to him. We drive into the temple. If there are some devotees nearby where we live, we might want to invite them to come with us and come to the temple, friends, relatives, family members. And so that's where we're helping. Right? So everything that we do, we should think, how can I do this as an offering to the Lord? What is it that I need to do to make this acceptable for him? And if we can think that and we can do that, then that is Buddhi Yoga. That's the path of getting back home, back to God. That's how we will get there. So all we need to do is just think, right? The Lord gives us intelligence, so we use it, right? Don't let it go to waste. Everyone has intelligence. There's no one that is not intelligent. Every single person in this room and outside of this room has intelligence. So we just have to figure out, how do I use my intelligence? How do I use it in such a way that I can please the Lord? And when I can please the Lord, then my path to him is assured. I'll get there. So this is the crux of it. So, I mean, I asked earlier how many people have a Bhagavad Gita. How many people read their Bhagavad Gita on a regular basis? So one time, I was in the hallway over here, and a young man came to the temple, and I showed him a Bhagavad Gita, and I said, do you have a Bhagavad Gita at home? And he said, no. I said, would you like a Bhagavad Gita? And he said, I don't have any money. I said, don't worry about the money. Would you like a Bhagavad Gita? He said, yes. I said, would you read it? He goes, oh, no. And he put it down. I said, why not? He said, I heard that if I pick up the Bhagavad Gita, I have to read the entire Bhagavad Gita before I put it down. I said, actually, that is actually a good thing. If one can do that, that's fantastic. But, you know, sometimes, he was a student. So I said, sometimes we're a student or we're a working person, and we don't have all the time to sit and read the entire, although we did that yesterday. We read the entire Bhagavad Gita from front to back within a few hours. So yeah, it is possible, it can be done. So I said, you don't have to read the entire book at one sitting. You can, what you can do is you can make a pact with yourself. I will read every day, whether it's a chapter or one shloka or one page, but read something. But don't just read it. Think about it, right? So like I, for example, before I go to work every day, I try to read. It doesn't happen every single day, but it happened most days. So I try to read at least one shloka, one verse. And then when I'm driving to work, I think about it. And so if we do this, we make this a practice, we think about it, what is it that Krishna is saying? Right? And sometimes our brains are foggy, and we can't comprehend, even though it's in a language understandable to us. Right? We still can't get it. That happens to me some days. I sit down to read, and I can't retain anything. It's like, my mind is like a sieve, it just goes. And then, you know, that day I just leave it. Okay. So for some reason, it's not happening today. Right? But it'll happen. But if we read something, and we don't understand what it means, Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, that there are devotees and bona fide spiritual masters around. We can ask, right? So this temple is open every day from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. approximately. We have a phone as well, many lines on the phone. So one can call, right? It's very easy. You can call. I was reading Bhagavad Gita and it says so and so and so, but I don't understand what it means. Can you help me? I guarantee whoever you get on the other line, if they're a bit versed in the Bhagavad Gita or they're not, they might find someone else who is, but you'll get the answer. Or you can come here in person and you can get the answer. So the message is there for us to take. So we shouldn't just read, we should think about it. And then we should think, how can I implement this in my life? In a way that it will help me, that I can make some spiritual progress. And if we're having difficulty, don't worry, because Krishna says here that I will instruct you from within. So there's nothing to lose. We shouldn't think, oh, I can't understand this, and you put it away. This book is too difficult for me. Oh, it's in Sanskrit. Srila Prabhupada made it very easy. The Sanskrit verses are here. There's English transliteration. There's word-for-word meaning. The translation. And then Srila Prabhupada explained that translation. He breaks it down for us to understand. And if we still can't understand, there are others who can help us. So we shouldn't use that as an excuse. Oh, I don't understand, so I'm leaving it. And this is not the only language that Bhagavad Gita is printed in. It's like over 80 different languages. So if English is not our main It's not our mother tongue, so we don't understand it that well. But whatever our mother tongue is, we can find those Bhagavad Gitas. And if you talk to the devotees at the table out there, just tell them what language you want. We actually have many languages in our book room downstairs that can easily be gotten. But if you can't find a language that you need or you want, they are available and we can order them for you from our printing house. So these books are here for all of us to learn, and we're all here to help each other. And if we can read them, like I said, contemplate what it means, and then put it into practice, then we're guaranteed to go back to Godhead. Because automatically, everything we do, from the time we open our eyes in the morning to the time we close our eyes at night, everything that we do, if we do it as an offering toward Krishna, then we will get maximum benefit. Right? Sometimes, this coming up to the end of the year, a lot of people want to do investments. Right? And nowadays the interest rates aren't the best. But if you put your money in ABC Bank, and somebody come and tell you, oh, XYZ Bank gives 0.5% more, or 1% more, what are you going to do? You'll run out to your bank, take the money out and put it there. Why? Because you want to maximize the return on your investment. So we are investing our time to learn this philosophy, to practice this philosophy, put it into practice. So we should figure out, if we're going to spend the time to read and spend it, then how do I maximize the benefit? You see, many devotees have this bead, this bag hanging around their neck with beads. So it's explained that in this age that we're living, Kali Yuga, that the fastest and quickest way of getting to the Lord is by chanting His holy name. So Narad Muni, many of us probably know Narad Muni, the great devotee of the Lord. He always carries a veena, a little musical instrument that he's playing, he's singing. Narad Muni bajai veena, radhika ramana namahe. Right? So Narad Muni is playing his veena, and he's chanting the glories of Radhika Raman. Right? So we want to have Radhika Raman. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also coined this prayer, or song. Mamamana mandire Raho nishi nishadin Krishna Murari Shri Krishna Murari. So he says, I want to make my mind a mandir, a temple. And inside that temple, I want to install Madan Mohan. Murari, Krishna Murari. I want to install Krishna Murari in my mind. So we should all think, how can I install Krishna in my mind? And by having Krishna in our mind, we will think of Him all the time, and everything we do, we'll do for Him. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Oh, I just found out I have an extra 5 minutes. I was thinking that I had to end at 10 after, and for the first time ever, I stopped at the right time. So yes. So, Narad Muni says that in Kali Yuga, he coined a very beautiful phrase that's found in the Brihat Naradiya Puran. Harira Nama, Harira Nama, Harira Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalonasti Eva Nasti Eva Nasti Eva, Gatir Amrita. So he says, in this age of Kali, if one wants to go to the abode of the Supreme Lord, then he should chant the name of Hari. And he says it 3 times for emphasis, right? Many people here might have small children, or had small children before, and sometimes you tell them something and it goes in one ear and out the next. And you tell them the same thing, right? And they don't hear. So we are all like little children, and Narad Muni is the spiritual master, and he's saying, Hari Nam. Hari is not a name for Lord Krishna, and Nam means name. Chant the name of Hari. And then he says, Kalo Nastyeva. He says, there's no other way. So in this age of Kali, the only way to be liberated or to get liberation from this material world is by chanting the names of Lord Hari. So we do that in the form of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Right? So maybe I can indulge all of you, if you like, to join me, and we will chant for a minute or two until Mataji tells me to stop, and then we'll move on to the next part of the program. So if you have beads, you can take your beads out. If you don't have beads, you can chant. You know, Krishna gives us so many little sections in our finger. We can utilize them. You know, everything we're utilizing in the service of the Lord, right? So you never thought of what to use these little sections for. So here's a perfect example. We can use them. We can count like 7 on one finger, starting at the top, then this part, then the little bend here, and then this part. You can get 7 out of each finger. So. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So if you have beads like this at home, you can chant as well in the morning. Actually, it's described and it's experienced that chanting in the morning is the best time. You can get so many more beautiful rounds or beautiful chanting done at that time of the day rather than the end of the day. So if you like, if you want to, you can try chanting with your fingers, or you can get beads. We have a boutique behind us. You can get beads from there and you can chant at home. But the point is that we should chant and try to remember the Lord constantly. And if we do that, and we're doing it in a perfect way, chanting with full attention and without any kind of other thought process happening at the time, that would be best. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one last thing, Krishna says, Antakale chamamevam smarat mukvadalevanam. So he says, at the time of death, if one thinks of me only, he will come to my transcendental abode. And the next verse, he says, Yam yam vapi smanam bhavam vajate yante kalevanam tam tam evaishasi kunteya sarata bhavavavida. He said, whatever else you think of, that's what you'll attain. So Krishna is saying, think of me only. So if that's where we want to go, let's think of him. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Bhaktiyoga Das. That was a beautiful class. If anyone has questions, I can tell he gave a lot of content. You can find him, maybe during Prashada. to follow up. And just a few announcements, and we're going to have our book distribution team give us some updates on what's going on this month. So again, just a reminder, Krishna Fun School has their Gita contest. It's already next weekend. And that's going to be an event here at the temple. The program itself is on the details are there on the bulletin boards. For all the children, you can see many children that we have at our Sunday schools. We'll be participating, others from the community. So please come, or I think it might be closed by now, I'm not sure if you can still register, but all the details are online, so please look into that. And then just a reminder, on Sundays from 5 to 7, there is the Sunday school downstairs for the children, if there are any parents interested. Today our cook was Baba Malini Dasi. Thank you very much. Round of applause, please. Thank you. And we're done. Yeah, we're done. That's it. So we do not have a sponsor for tonight's evening meal. If anyone's feeling inspired, or for the DD garlands, so what they're wearing every day, you can see the front desk. They'll give you all the details. It's a great way to honor someone's passing, anniversary celebrations, and such. 2 events coming up this month, actually just around Christmas time. The Kirtan Standard Seminar, so that's for those people who are singing Kirtan or doing instruments, etc. They can learn some of the standards and some of the best practices, let's say, about Kirtan. So that's on the 24th. For anyone interested, here again at the temple. The details will be on our website soon, Iskcon Toronto. And then additionally on the 25th is a special Kirtan Mela, so we'll do chanting for a long period of time. It gets very immersive and a little crazy in the temple. If any of you have been to our Kirtan events, it's a beautiful event. It's on Christmas Day. That is, I don't have the time here, on the 25th, and then again on the 1st. So I believe we'll be posting some things on our social media, if anyone follows us there, and our WhatsApp groups, etc. soon about that for those who want to share Christmas Day with us. And then just for those people who are new, can I have a show of hands who's new first time or first few times at the temple? Just a few tonight. So I have Jessica here. Wave, Jessica. So she's fantastic. Please see her. She's going to give you a little tour, VIP access to the prasadam tonight. That's always good. So please see her. You can make friends with her and learn. Oh, he's first time, yes. It turns out we have a lot of first timers sometimes for the VIP access. Okay, 2 more. We have a lot of announcements tonight. 2 more announcements. We have our calendars. Naturally, New Year's coming. We have our BBT calendars. They're in our boutique, which is, just so everyone knows, we have a Govinda's restaurant in the boutique just behind me in the hallway. So you can get a calendar if you need that for gifts, etc. And then our temple calendar, we have our own special calendar. It's just now coming. We believe in the next week or so we will have that available as well. So keep your ears open for that information. One more. I believe there's one more. Okay, sorry, just a quick note. So we have it very tight here. We have, we finish our class, we do announcements, then we eat prasadam in the same hall. And at 8 o'clock sharp, the DD's open again, and everyone knows who's here regularly. We quickly make our way out. So just a reminder, everyone, to take your plates here and dispose of them in our environmentally safe ways that we provide there on the left side before 8 o'clock. I'll make a reminder, but if everyone can do it a little bit faster than at the last minute, it makes it a little more smooth. And we only eat on this floor, just a kind reminder. We do not eat upstairs and in the other spaces, so please squeeze in. I think that's it for my announcements, and then I have a few minutes left for our Sinkers on the team.